It was a Tuesday afternoon, and I was standing in line at the grocery store. I was staring at a bag of chips. I wasn't just considering whether or not to buy them, I was wrestling with something much bigger. See, it wasn't about the chips, it was about control. And at that moment, I realized I wasn't living my life. I was letting life just kind of happen to me. I had drifted through the past few years like a passenger on a train that I hadn't meant to board. Sure, I had some vague idea of where I wanted to go, but there was no real plan. I'd make decisions, big and small, based on convenience, habit, or a whim. Financial goals, life aspirations, those were things I'd think about someday. But the thing about someday is that it has a way of slipping by unnoticed. I didn't want to wake up 10 years later wondering where the time had gone. So there I was in the grocery store, facing down a bag of chips like it was a philosophical showdown. And that's when it hit me. I needed to be intentional. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do chips have to do with intentional living? Well, everything. Because intentional living isn't about the big, life changing decisions, it's about the small ones. It's about consciously deciding how you're going to spend your time, your money, and your energy. It's about aligning every decision, no matter how small, with your goals. That day, I went home, crawled into bed with my journal, and I wrote down my financial goals. No more someday. I wanted to build wealth. I wanted to invest in real estate. And I wanted to create a future where I wasn't constantly worrying about money. But it wasn't just about finances. I wanted a life of purpose. I wanted to travel, to build something meaningful, to live without regret. I set clear, specific goals that night, and that was the beginning of everything. From then on, every decision I made had a purpose. I stopped spending money on things that didn't move me towards my goals. I started budgeting. I invested. I learned everything I could find on real estate. I said no to the things that didn't align with my vision and yes to the things that did, even when they scared me. Intentional living isn't glamorous. It's not always about big, bold moves. Most days, it's the quiet discipline of making choices that align with your vision, even when no one's watching. It's skipping the unnecessary expenses, sticking to your budget, and saying no to distractions. But over time, those little choices add up to something monumental. That commitment to intentional living became my compass. It kept me on track when things got hard. It gave me clarity when doubt crept in. It was the reason I stayed focused when others drifted away. And little by little, it paid off. My finances grew, my investments flourished, and I was on the path I had consciously chosen. So if you're feeling stuck, like life is just happening to you, maybe it's time to take control. Set clear goals, both for your life and your finances. Write them down and let those goals guide your decisions, because intentional living isn't just about where you're going, it's about how you get there. Every choice you make today is a step toward or away from the future you want. Choose wisely.